What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Big T coming at you today with another cigar review. I'm having a fabulous day today. Hope everybody else is as well. Sun peaked out for a little bit today. A little bit of nice weather, although it's still a little chilly here in Michigan. Things are going okay. So today we are going to be smoking the Fratello Virginia from the DMV line. So this cigar I actually won in a contest over on Brother Lee Mac's channel. Every so often he'll do, contests or whatever, and it's usually a prize. So this is one that I won from him. So this says that he got it in December, which was, last year December, which is when the new line of the DMVs came out. And he was able to get it through State Line. As you can see here, he likes to mark them all. So very nice, very nice. Thank you again, Brother Lee Mac, for picking me as a winner. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely helped to stock up the humidor before this whole crisis happened. So we got plenty of smokes indeed. Let's see if I can get the cello off of here without breaking the cigar. Always got to have your EDC, people. Get that EDC. There we go. That's better. So not a whole lot's changed. I did get a new phone, which is what I do all of my video on. So I can already tell that this one zooms a lot better, so that's nice. Hopefully it continues to work out for me. It's definitely better service. So switched carriers. An old carrier wasn't doing so great. But anyway, back to the cigar. So this is the Virginia, like I said, which is a 5x54 Robusto. It's got an Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper, which is interesting. I've been kind of into the Corojos lately. Been smoking a lot of those. An Ecuadorian binder, and then Dominican Republic and Nicaraguan fillers. So this should be a pretty good flavor stick. Should have some nice earthy, peppery notes in it. So we'll see how that goes. This particular stick usually runs about $11.95 a stick, and that's based on $2.39 for a box of 20. Now this is one of 4 different blends from the Fratello DMV line from 2019. I know they had previously released it. I just don't remember what year it was. Google it. Google's your friend, right? So the other 3 blends, we've got a Maryland, which is a 5x58, which has the Mexican San Andreas wrapper. The Washington, D.C., which is a 5x50. That has an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper. I don't know why that was so hard to say. And then the Delaware, which is a 5x47 with a Brazilian, I'm probably going to butcher this, Opera Piraca wrapper. Not exactly sure what that is, but those usually run about $9.95 a stick, $11.95 for the Maryland as well, and then $10.95 for the Washington, D.C. So the gig with the Fratello DMVs is that all 4 blends have a different wrapper, but they have the same Dominican and Nicaraguan filler as well as the Ecuadorian binder. So kind of puts a little bit more truth into the whole your flavor comes from the wrapper ideal. So we'll see if that's true or not. I like the bands that Fratello does, or Fratello rather. You can kind of see it. Hopefully it'll zoom a little bit better. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and clear for you. So you got the nice V-shaped Fratello band on there, and then this one has a foot band on it as well. Right there for you. It says DMV. So that's kind of neat. We're going to go ahead and take the foot band off. There we go. Came off nice and easy. The wrapper's got that barnyard smell to it. Picking up like a slight little hint of like almost like a wintergreen, but that's right by the wrapper. So that might have something to do with the glue maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, just the slightest little hint of wintergreen. Almost like grizzly chewing tobacco wintergreen. Actually, I have a little bit on the foot too. That's interesting. Hold on, guys. Let's check the band real quick. I want to see if the band smells like the wintergreen, because you can see kind of where the glue was. I don't smell it on the band. Huh. That's interesting. We shall see what that entails. Yeah, man, wintergreen, like grizzly. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Slightly oiled wrapper. Got some veins, couple seams. Not terrible looking. It's pretty nice. A little bumpy. Could feel like a little squishy pocket right in here, just above the foot. Not too firm. It's rolled nicely though. Looks like a nice, probably double cap. Nice to smooth double cap. Whoever rolled this definitely knew what they were doing. Yeah, it's a nice looking cigar. All right. So, why don't you say we chop it up, light it up, and get to smoking. All right, so today we're going to be using the old trusty Zycar. Won't spend too much time delving into that. I'm sure if you've watched a few of my videos, talked enough about my equipment. And how much I cut off. Wow. Very loose draw on this one. Yeah, it's like sucking through a straw. There's like no resistance on that, so hopefully it doesn't burn up too fast. On the plus side, I don't think we'll have to put a draw hole in it. Let me write this down before I forget. Hold on. So on the cold draw, a little bit of anise, like a black licorice. Yeah, it's like a black licorice. Interesting. Yeah. You know, like the black licorice jelly beans? It's Easter time, right? You guys all know the black licorice jelly beans. That's what it tastes like. With just the slightest bit of pepper bite on the lips. Interesting. Other than that, maybe like a little sweet tobacco, but that black licorice is like right there in the front. Let's go ahead and light her up and see what else we got. On a side note, I briefly mentioned that I've been smoking a lot of Corojos lately. One of the other cigars that I won from Mr. Lee Mack's contest, almost forgot the word I was looking for. One of the other cigars I won from the contest was a Gran Habano Corojo number 5. I smoked that last week. Not my cup of tea. I did smoke it fairly all the way down. It wasn't bad. It just had, Brother Lee Mack calls it patchouli oil, I believe. Now, mind you, I've never actually smelled true patchouli oil. But what he always says with those is that it's very predominant in the acid line from Drew Estate. So if you've ever smoked an acid cigar, that underlying flavor, the patchouli oil, I think that's how you pronounce it, that's basically what that cigar tasted like. I have a hard time believing that it acquired that taste sitting in a humidor with anything else, although I could be wrong. It did have cellophane on it, so it wasn't open. Typically, I leave cellophane on all mine to keep that type of thing from happening. That draw is really loose, folks. We'll see how this goes. Lighting process went okay. I do see just the slightest bit of shoe shine from where the flame has kissed the wrapper. Let's see if we can see it on the new camera, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, kinda. You can kind of see a little bit of a color differentiation there, just below where it's lit. I know my lighting's not the greatest. I'm working on it. I promise you. One step at a time. So very loose draw. You have to forgive me. I'm trying to write my notes down as we're talking here. A nice black pepper core on the retro. Not overbearing, just enough to kind of tickle those nasal passages. I don't taste the anise, or anise, whatever you want to call it. That licorice flavor, I don't taste that. I can definitely tell the Dominican tobacco. It's got the Dominican twang in there. A little bit of a cedar note. That's about it. We're going to smoke on this a little bit, guys, and we'll see what else it gives us. All right? Hang tight. So a nice little note, when I was looking up the homework for this cigar, was, let me see, where do we go here? Okay, so the Fratello DMV line was produced at the La Aurora Cigar, wow. So the Fratello DMV line was produced at the La Aurora Cigar Factory in the Dominican Republic. Only 150 boxes of each blend were produced. As we discussed, there's 4 different blends. And the cool thing that I found about this was that a portion of all the sales goes as a kickback, a donation to each of those states' cigar associations. So Delaware, Maryland, Washington, D.C., Virginia, they all get a kickback. They get a donation from all the money that the La Aurora family gets from selling these. That's pretty nice, especially these days. Speaking of donations and paying it forward or giving the kickback, whatever you want to call it, it's very easy to lose yourself and become selfish. But times like these, guys, we just kind of have to remember to kind of watch out for your fellow neighbor, especially friends and family. If you know somebody in your family that's kind of down on hard times, you know, you want to help them out. So I know during this whole quarantine business, I've been calling and checking in on grandparents and parents and even cousins, you know, just kind of keeping in touch. As I previously stated, I think that this whole crisis, or whatever you want to call it, is going to hopefully push us Americans back into thinking a little more positively and considering our fellow our fellow humans. We seem to have shied away from that a little bit these days, so hopefully we can get back to that. As far as the cigar goes, it's not bad. Still very minimal flavor coming out of it. It's got a light, airy smoke, so it doesn't linger, doesn't kind of hang around or anything. However, you do get very good smoke output from this. The draw is still very light draw. I wish I had a little bit more resistance on it, but what are you gonna do? Good smoke output. Where'd we go here? Oh, it is a dry smoke, so I would recommend having a beverage on hand. Tonight, my beverage of choice is the Oberon, the ever-ready Oberon. Always have some Oberon ready. As far as craft beer goes, Oberon has to be by far my favorite. And I think the thing that's most appealing about it, to me at least, is that it changes every year. So just like cigars change by brand, blend, year made, even the shape and size of the cigar could change the flavor of it. Every year the Oberon batch changes just a little bit. And you can see it if you get, so like last year's batch of Oberon, to me, seemed a little more malty. This year it's a little more clean and crisp. So it's nice to put a little change in there sometimes, right? But it never lets me down. So if you're looking for a good craft beer, Bell's Oberon. I'm right here in Michigan. Beer City, USA, sir. Can't go wrong. There's always beer in Michigan. Always. Still hot and heavy with that Dominican twang. Definitely Dominican filler in there. That slight black pepper that was on the retro is kind of fading off a little bit. You can still get a little bit on the back of your tongue and on the roof of your mouth, but nothing too overbearing. It's basically like it's not even there. Main flavors right now, I would say, are cedar. I was getting a little bit of like a toasted coconut or like a toasted graham cracker kind of a flavor in there as well. And personally, I think that might be a combination of that little bit of a black pepper zing in there, and then the Dominican twang as well as the cedar all kind of wrapped up together, I think is what kind of gives you that toasted graham cracker kind of flavor. Definitely not a bad cigar, though. I'm not enjoying it. Double negative. It's a decent cigar. It does have a very thick mascara line. Not like very thick, but thicker mascara line. And if my memory serves me correctly, that means that this was fairly young tobacco when it was rolled. It was not aged for a super long period of time. That's typically, I believe, what a larger mascara line means. And as I've discussed before, I am kind of finicky when it comes to the burn on my cigars. I like to touch them up, and you can see that little bit there, so probably end up touching that up here in just a minute. Ash seems fairly compact, although it is a little wavy, so I'll probably end up tipping it off at about 1.5 inches if it doesn't fall off before then. Hopefully I can make it in the ashtray and not in my lap. That would be nice for a change. It is burning fairly quickly. And like I said at the beginning, that could be due to that light draw. Touch up that little spot there, get that rolling a little bit. So this is a 5-inch cigar. we are almost through that first third. I'm going to go ahead and pull the band off. As you can see on this side, it's getting kind of close. I was smoking a Time Flies from AJ and Foundry the other day. I forgot to pull the band off of it. That was an interesting flavor. Thankfully, I didn't burn too much of the band. But you could definitely tell I was smoking it. So there's the band. There's the main band, the Fratello. Kind of nice. It's that navy blue. I just like the shape of it. It just looks good on the cigar, the V shape. It's a nice band. I like that. And this was the foot band. Same navy blue. DMV. Very nice indeed. So other than the sticker on the cello, nothing to tell you that it's the Virginia. But each of these cigars in the DMV line is color-coded for your convenience. It's definitely burning very well. I've set it down a couple times now in between and picked it up, and it just keeps on chugging. So as for the Oberon, man, I love Oberon, guys. It's my favorite. All right, we're gonna smoke a little bit on this, and we'll be back. Stay tight. All right, guys, so we are into that second third halfway point, and we did have that first ash drop at about 1.5 inches. I did tip it off in the ashtray. Kudos to me. Didn't land in my lap this time. It does look compact, but it is rather flaky. So if you can avoid dropping that anywhere but the ashtray, that would be great for you. Predominant flavors right now. So after that ash drop, the toasted graham cracker kind of flavor morphed a little bit, and now it's definitely more of like a toasted nut kind of flavor. So like toasted almond almost kind of a deal. Still got that Dominican twang hot and heavy in there from the Dominican filler. Other than that, that's about all we got going on right now, guys. That's about it. If you want to see some more reviews on these Fratello, I know Brother Limac has some on his channel. I believe Cigar Obsession has a few. I'm sure you could find some quick videos from Should I Smoke This? And I almost want to say maybe Meet in the Middle has one as well from my Robusto. If you haven't checked them out yet either, check out Meet in the Middle show on the iRobusto YouTube channel. I'll put a link to their channel in the description. Check them out. They're pretty cool. What they do is they set up a schedule for the month. And then usually it's every Sunday they'll air a new episode, on their YouTube channel. But if you go to their website, iRobusto.com, I'll put that at the bottom of the screen for you. If you go to iRobusto.com, you can check out that schedule and possibly buy the cigar that they're going to be smoking, and then you can go ahead and smoke along with them. That's pretty fun. I've done that a couple times, just to kind of compare notes. So the thing I like about iRobusto and Meet the Middle show is that you've got 3 different people smoking the same cigar, so you get 3 different points of view. That's kind of cool because sometimes, everything matches up, right? But more often than not, there are some wavering flavors and stuff that they each get. So it's kind of interesting to watch. This thing was still chugging right along. You can see it definitely has that cone shape in there. And the ash, after the ash drop, that thing's just pouring smoke too. Look at that. This is the first review I've done with this new phone, guys, and I gotta say, for a forward-facing camera, this one works pretty dang well. Now if I could just flip it around and use the triple camera on the back and still see what I'm filming, then we'd be in business. You'd be getting some like high def 4K vision right there, buddy. I'll tell you what. So this thing's chugging right along. It is definitely a dry smoke. You're gonna want that beverage. You can go alcoholic or non with this. This is kind of a, I don't really want to say bland cigar, but it doesn't have a whole lot of complexity to it thus far. So I'm thinking it would go good with just about anything cold and wet. Or not. If you're a straight whiskey or a straight bourbon kind of guy, it'd probably go good with that too. All right, well, we'll keep smoking on this a little bit. See if anything changes in that final third, guys. One down to the nub. As you can see, still a little bit of an uneven burn there. I did have to touch it up twice. Flavor profiles remain the same throughout. Still got that Dominican twang, hot and heavy in there. The Nicaraguan tobacco, probably not a ton of it in there. To me, it tastes like it's more Dominican than Nicaraguan. That black pepper profile that I usually associate with the Nicaraguan tobacco didn't really stick around for very long. It's still going. So it burns good. You might have to touch it up a couple times. Very heavy on the Dominican twang. Toasted nut flavors, some cedar in there. Other than that, kind of average in my book. I did have to touch it up twice, like I mentioned. So be wary of that. Be wary of the ash drop. We did tip it off one more time, right around another 1.5 inches. So just be wary of that. It's kind of flaky ash once it drops. So, excuse me, it might make a mess if it falls in your lap. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the numbers on this one. For the price, I'm going to give it a 2. I feel like $11.95 might be a little high for this type of cigar. I'd probably, personally, I'd price it no more than $9 maybe. And that's probably just paying for the brand, you know, Fratello. Construction, I'm going to go ahead and give it average. We'll give it a 3. Fairly average construction. Nothing that was above and beyond mark. We did have to touch it up a couple times. I didn't really dock too many points for that, though. Flavor, again, a 3. Overall, the flavor has just been really average. Just cedar notes, toasted nut. I was kind of hoping that anise flavor would stick around, but it didn't. And then my overall experience is going to be a 3. So all put together, it's going to be a 2.75 for this cigar. Would I smoke it again? Yeah, I'd probably pick up another one. More so out of curiosity, though, to see if there's a difference between this one and the new one. Like I said, Brother Lee Mac got this one December of last year. Although we're not too far into 2020, that little bit of an age. And just transferring from person to person, 2 different humidors, there's a lot of variables when it comes to cigars. So I would definitely pick up another one and try it again just to see if I had the same experience or not. You could probably hear the neighbor taking off his loud truck. But one thing I would encourage anybody who's newer or anybody in general who likes smoking cigars as a hobby, get yourself one of these. So this is what I use for my journal. Just the composition book. You can use a regular spiral notebook or whatever you want to use. And then what I basically do is I just write down all my notes. So you always hear me talk about I'm writing down my notes. Well, I write in here, you know, wrapper binder flavor notes, or wrapper binder filler notes, rather. That way I can look back and say, okay, did I like this cigar? Yes. Okay, well, what kind of wrapper did it have? Well, it had Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper. Okay. So now I know when I go to the store, if I want something that I'm going to like, I can look for an Ecuadorian Habano or Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper or whatever it might be. Other things I write down, just flavor profiles. That way I can look back and see, okay, well, this was a pretty good cigar. What were the flavors it got? Because depending on, you know, what you're looking for, that can help you out a little bit. I write down prices. If they come in different sizes, I typically write down each size and what the price was. That way, if I had a Robusto before, but maybe I want to try a Churchill, you know, then I know what the price difference is, what to expect when I either go to the B&M or if I buy online. Typically, I go to the B&M. I like to support local business. I definitely encourage that, especially during these times. Still rolling. And then the other thing I like about these, and you could do this with any book, really, you just take a couple pages and designate it as like your index, your glossary, whatever you want to call it. But the composition books have this nice panel in the front board there, and I just kind of modify the columns a little bit. And basically the information I put in there is my page number, so you'll see on the top of my pages, I always put a page number here. Sometimes I put the date that I smoked it, but I've kind of shied away from that because I don't really use that too much anymore. So I'll have a page number on there, and then I'll write down, the name of the cigar, the rating that I gave it, the size that I smoked that time, and then the last column in the glossary is if I would smoke it again or not. So at least then if I'm like, okay, well, maybe I want to try the Hoyo Lamastad Silver again. Okay, well, I can look in here and I can go, okay, that's on page 7. Flip over to page 7, look through my notes real quick and be like, yeah, maybe I will want to try that one again. So just something to kind of get into. Again, you don't have to, but it helps me a lot, especially if I know, like I said, if I'm looking for a particular type of cigar, maybe I'm looking for something that has that particular filler or that particular binder or that particular wrapper. Then I can go back and see, okay, well, have I smoked anything with that in it yet? No. Okay, well, cool. And that's a new addition to the lineup. So I encourage everybody to keep notes. Again, this was the Fratello DMV Virginia, the Virginia blend, the 2019 series. 5x54 Robusto, $11.95 a stick, a little high, I think. And yeah. So give it a shot. It's definitely not a bad cigar. I would smoke it again. However, I would be hoping for maybe a little bit of a tighter draw next time. I think the loose draw on this one is kind of what killed it. And I didn't even clip that much off of the head either. So it's not that I clipped it too much. I think it was just maybe because it's been around for a while, or maybe that's just the way it's rolled. And that's one more reason to kind of go back and revisit some cigars that you've smoked before. At $11.95, this is definitely not going to be one that I jump on right away to get another one. That's a little high for my blood, but I definitely would smoke it again. Anyway, everybody, be safe out there. Take care of your family. Take care of your friends. Stay healthy. Stay inside as much as you can anyway. Get out and get some fresh air by all means, but don't be dumb. This is Big T. Signing off for now, guys. Hope everybody's having another great day. I know I am. You guys take it easy. I'll see you on the flip side.